Right, I want to introduce you to my new friend, Ian.
Hello.
Hello. And he's my new friend because he loves Mouseman furniture.
All of them.
All of them.
All the critter makers.
Now, what do you know about the critters? Because I don't know a great deal about them.
Well, as you said earlier, they carve their animal on every piece they make to identify their work.
Yes.
And everyone is different.
Yes.
And probably one of the most interesting is the gnomeman, because he had a smile on his face on a Friday, but a frown on a Monday.
How did that work?
I think it was just interpretation of work, really.
Okay, so on a Monday morning, he'd carved the gnome with a bit of a downtrodden face.
That's right, yes. And by Friday, he was smiling because it's the weekend off.
Okay, so do you own any gnomeman?
I've one piece, yes.
And is it smiling or frowning?
He's a frowning one.
He's a frowning one. He's a Monday morning purchase.
I've got a Monday morning.
Oh, that's marvellous. And so, what about Mouseman? Do you have any Mouseman?
Yes, Mouseman is. I noticed earlier.
Come round this way so we can see a bit of the action in the background. You come round this way, Ian. Because we're a bit kind of rammed against that clock there.
Right.
Go on, tell me, you've got some Mouseman.
No, you were saying earlier about dating it, and I think you dated on instinct, really.
Right.
People say all sorts of things about the front legs are missing, and
yeah.
The really early Mouseman was quite hideous, the mice.
Really? I didn't know that.
Very
Is that
long.
from the early part of the 20th
That's
century?
Right, very long necks and quite crudely carved.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And obviously, the more work that went into a mouse, probably the earlier it is.
I see. Okay.
And ones that bend, a bending mouse is probably more desirable than a straight mouse.
Now, what does a bendy mouse look like? Let's move down a bit further down there. We're going to be blocking the.
That's right.
You stand there, Ian. That's it. There, we were blocking the office. People were trying to get by to
A
pay the
mouse with a
bills.
little bit more movement in it.
Right.
Yes. And the 60s mice were nice. The later ones, they go in different directions. Sometimes they go a little bit less in weight and size.
Right.
But it's the size of it's the times, really.
Now, what about the tail? I did hear that the length of the tail determined the age. Is there any truth in that?
I don't think so. I think you just have to go on instinct, the colour of the wood, the patination of the wood, the quality of the wood, and just look at it like that and see dated pieces from undated pieces. That's
okay, so I suppose it's like everything in this business. It's all about experience and hand-on.
There's no hard and fast rule really with anything.
No, buying and selling and owning. So how long have you been collecting Mouseman or the critters for?
Just since my father started in 1970.
Okay.
And he bought the Rabbit Man furniture.
Oh, yeah.
And the Rabbit Man was in business between 1970 and the year 2000. And he worked for the Mouseman, and when he left the Mouseman, he continued to carve the mice for him on an evening.
Did he?
On commission.
Right.
Because a little bit short of mouse cards.
It's a wonderful story. You should Google, actually. Kilburn, Robert Thompson of Kilburn. It's a fascinating story. Go on.
And the Rabbit Man altered things, learned from what he learned to the Mouseman, and did his own. Basically the same but different.
Right.
So he was interesting. But by the year 2000, he'd been in business 30 years, he was getting shorter fingers. Pushing the timber through, it's gradually lost fingers.
What, are you serious? He actually lost some fingers?
He lost fingers.
I never knew that.
No, and he lost his thumb on 2 occasions. On the first occasion, he wrapped it in ice, took it to hold him firmly, and they stitched it back. And the next time he lost it, he did exactly the same thing. But he said to him, this time, can you sew it on the right way round? So it's all interesting stuff.
Now, okay, so who is your favourite then? We've got Mouseman, Rabbit Man, Gnomeman, Acorn Man, we've got them all. Mouseman is at the top of the pile, we know that when it comes to money.
Money Mouse is tops, and money, probably Rabbit is second.
Oh, I didn't know that, so look out for Rabbit Man.
They're all good, they're all excellent quality.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a cheap item.
Yeah.
But they're just a little bit different, and you look for those differences in them.
Okay.
They say the Gnomeman was probably up there.
Now, the Gnomeman, is he the one that was actually trained in Germany, not in Yorkshire?
I don't think he trained with the Mouseman. He lived in Slights. He's now dead.
Right.
But his work is exquisite.
Okay.
It's really good. Collected a lot in America.
Yes, a lot of this stuff is. Well, I've just filmed with a little. That's how we met, because I've just made a video on the little Mouseman box. Yes. And they do get sent all around the world, don't they? We've got
They do
collectors
indeed.
literally all over.
They do. They get scattered everywhere.
So, top tip for our viewers at home: what do they look for in a piece of Mouseman? What's the best thing to see for you as an experienced collector?
Just buy the best and buy unusual. That's what I'll say.
Okay,
Don't buy mediocrity. So buy the very best with the best timber and the most unusual or unique design.
like that.
That's
And
right.
out of all the critters, I think I know the answer. Which is the best?
They're all good, but I do like the Rabbit Man, but I have an association with it. I was friends with the man who started the company for many years,
Right.
and he taught me so much, and I learnt so much from him.
Now, you learnt from him what, in the manufacturing or what? Are you hands-on yourself? Do you make?
No, I'm
No.
hopeless, but I learnt from him things that are rarer, things that sell,
I
things
see.
that don't sell,
Right.
and how I pick the timber, and meeting the man who founded a business like that
Yeah.
is very, very good.
That's wonderful. And are you still actively collecting, Ian?
Not really, no, I'm no space left.
Now, okay, so when you come to sell, if you've got a very big collection of this stuff, you need to get in touch with me and we'll make a video. How's that?
That sounds really good. Incidentally, also, what you forget about all this critter, boxes and bowls and ashtrays, of course, they did a lot of church work.
Yes, they did.
pews.
I did mention that in my video, and that's, I think, where Mousy Thompson started, really, wasn't he?
That's right, yes.
Making in churches and schools.
They did, yes. And so you see a lot of work in churches and on doors and gateways, work that you wouldn't normally recognise.
That's right.
But the Rabbit Man, he made some to put ashes in for somebody.
Oh,
I won't mention which church, but unfortunately, after he carved them all and carved recesses in them, there were new posts. He didn't have enough room for all the ashes,
oh.
so I won't tell you what happened to the remaining ashes. I'll
you
leave
wanna-
it to your imagination.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to thank you for your information. It's great to meet you.
Yes.
And you can tell me what happened to the ashes. How's that?
That's right, yes. They're in the churchyard.